Hi there guys, you're with Mr. Burns today and we're going to look at renewable energies. In particular, we are going to look at why we should develop them being renewable energies. Why should we be looking at developing them? Well, let's have a look. Why is it important we develop sources of renewable energy? Reason number one is fossil fuels are a finite resource. Now you guys know what fossil fuels are. They're the fuels that came from rotting animals or rotting plants. Things like oil, things like gas, things like coal. And they are what we call a finite resource. What do you think finite means? Have a think. Okay, perhaps this will help you. Whether you believe there are hundreds of years or just a few decades left of oil, gas and coal, the fact remains that it is a finite resource. At some point, fossil fuels are going to either be gone or they are going to become too expensive to realistically use. And this is what finite resource means, guys. It means it runs out. If something is finite, it will run out. It has a limit. Right, now here's Mr. Dinosaur from millions of years ago. He died and rotted and turned into this coal, right? And now we use that coal, but the problem is we will run out of coal. We will run out of gas and we will run out of oil eventually. It is not infinite. It is this word. It is finite. So whether you believe in global warming or not, eventually we are going to have to use other fuels apart from oil, gas or coal. Okay, and here's the number 2 reason why we should invest in renewable energies. Here's reason number 2. Guys, fossil fuels might, underline might, contribute to climate change. I know there's a lot of people out there who think they definitely do, and there's some who think they definitely don't. I think we can say they might contribute to climate change fairly. Look, here's coal. You burn that, you release carbon into the atmosphere. Here's gas. You burn that, you release carbon into the atmosphere. Here's oil. You burn that, you release carbon into the atmosphere. Here's a picture of the Earth's temperature over the last 200 years or so. It has, on average, gone up by 1 degree Celsius. Well, so the Earth has gotten a little bit hotter, or so we think, and maybe fossil fuels and the burning of fossil fuels is contributing to that. Maybe. Talk to mum and dad about it. They might agree or disagree. It's a pretty hot topic. There's my little joke. Hot topic. Hot. Hot means a lot of people disagree about it. Alright, and here's reason number 3 why we should focus on using renewable resources. Reason number 3, guys, renewable energy is economically sound. Now that word just means money-wise. When we're talking about economically, we're talking about money-wise. And so being economically sound means in the long run it is cheaper. It should cost less. Look, by recent Greenpeace estimates, the world could save around $180 billion a year by switching 70% of the planet's electricity production to renewable options. Now that's a Greenpeace estimate, and they're a pretty biased group. They're very against anything that might be climate change, and they're very pro renewable energy. But it's an interesting statistic. And let's have a look at these chaps down here. These people have put solar panels on their roof, and so they're not really paying for electricity anymore. Sure, it costs a lot of money to put the solar panels on the roof, but in the long run, they're not paying the electricity bills that you or me will. No way. In fact, sometimes they even sell electricity back to the electricity power plant. Let's have a look at the wind farm down here. Sure, it did cost a lot to set up that wind farm, and I know some people don't like them because they're noisy, but That's generating quite a bit of energy, and that is in the long run cheaper than drilling down into the Earth's core to release old found oil, which is going to run out anyway. So an argument could be made that renewable energy is economically sound. It's going to be cheaper in the long run. Okay, guys, and reason number 4 why we should probably invest in renewable energies is, number 4, renewable energy is generally better for the environment. And I think that's pretty hard to disagree with. I mean, all you've got to do is go down to Cronulla Beach in the afternoon and have a look out at the horizon, and this is what you'll see. Okay, if you go down to Cronulla in the afternoon and see Mr. Burns shredding there out the point, and you see the flags there and you see the sun setting, look closely and you'll also see this brown sort of layer of air or of pollution just between the line of the ocean and the sky, what we call the horizon, and that's just pollution just sitting there. And you know, that's come from somewhere. So even if you sort of don't really get into the idea that pollution's causing global warming, we still certainly are causing pollution, and it can't be very good for us. For example, let's look at coal mining. That brings solid waste to the surface that would normally remain underground, and the areas around a mine can remain barren for generations due to the lack of proper topsoil. And barren means nothing will grow. Okay, that's not good for the environment. If you so devastate the earth that nothing will grow, that's bad. Here's another way in which it's just not good for the environment. The burning of coal for energy also produces many different types of matter that pollute the air. The finest of these particles can be inhaled deeply and cause various respiratory health problems in people living around the power plant. So look at all the coal that's been burnt off here. Look at this poor guy in China. In China, they are so polluted, they regularly have to wear those masks on their face in order to filter out all the bad things you can breathe in from the pollution. And if they don't wear that, they get sick and have asthma attacks and get unwell. Look, here's a picture of London down there. Now that's London on a bad day, a bad pollution day, and that's a major western city, and that's how bad it can get. On days like that in London, people have got to wear masks like that as well. It's not just China. Acid rain's another issue, guys. I mean, all this stuff that we put into the atmosphere, all this carbon, the nitrogen, carbon monoxide, all these things, they go up into the atmosphere, and really, you know, they have to go somewhere. So often they will become part of the rain that comes back down onto us. And so here you go. These pollutants make their way into the water cycle, and they fall to the ground as acid rain, which can destroy land and pollute large bodies of water. And here's a forest that's been devastated by acid rain. Basically, the pollution's gone up into the air, as we can see over here. It's mixed with the rain and come back down, and acid rain is not good for us or for our plants or other animals. Okay, so in conclusion, I'm going to sum up, so if you haven't been listening, listen now. Here's why we should invest in renewable resources. 1. Fossil fuels are finite. They will run out like the dinosaurs. There was only so many, they will run out. 2. Fossil fuels might contribute to climate change. Now, we're not entirely certain, but we do know that burning coal releases carbon into the atmosphere, and a lot of people think that contributes to global warming, which contributes to climate change. Number 3, renewable energy is economically sound. It's probably cheaper in the long run. And of course, if you've got your solar panels, it costs a bit at the beginning, but in the end you end up selling electricity back to the power plant, so you make money off them. And number 4, and I don't think this is in any doubt really, renewable energy is generally better for the environment. And there's Mr. Burns absolutely shredding down there at Cronulla, and he does not want this little layer of brown pollution that he sees there every afternoon between the sky and the water. And that's pollution fog, and that's just not good for the planet. Alright guys, learn those because they're in the test. Thanks for listening. Cheers.